Can I start recording it? Oh, I'm already recording. Shall we start off with the bowls? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's start with cleansing. Hello, wonderful audience. We love you. Today we need to start with cleansing.
Yeah.
Okay. I
You see how
I
that
think
mixed?
oh
Blended
yes.
together.
I think that
Blended
was
like
effective.
a.
And you get to a point where it seems the instrument reaches the limit of its capability. It just cuts out. It's
Hmm.
like the ear. Suddenly you can't hear above a certain frequency. It wants to do it, but it can't. So
Hmm.
yes, good. That was appropriate. Okay, so wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. I hope you're doing really well. Your friendly neighborhood wizards back with you again on the Tale of Two Wizards. And today we want to have a conversation about sacred geometry. This is an interesting one, near and dear to my heart, and I know very little about it. And so hopefully we'll be able to share some information, and I hope you find it beneficial and enjoyable. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so sacred geometry. Um, what is it? What does it entail? Well, we've got the Platonic solids, different constructs, starting from more simple zero-dimensional objects like a point, turning it into one dimension, two, three, and going up the dimensions with many faces. It seems that the common property is symmetry. Symmetry seems to be very important. And so we have the use of arcs, we have the use of straight lines, angles, and nodes. The most powerful symmetry is symmetry across a single point. And so, in that way, no matter where you observe the geometry from, it is going to be balanced. So, whether you're observing it from the third dimension or 12th dimension, it makes no difference. It can all be focused around a certain focal point. So, this seems to be common among these geometries. And then these are used as, let's say, capsules or containers of intention. So, the geometry on its own is not good or bad. It's just a container, like a jar or a flask, and then
Two.
you can pour into it different intentions. Many get stuck on the notion that certain geometries are evil, or no, certain geometries are good, absolutely. I think that is not accurate. That's all I have to say for this point.
What I've noticed in geometry is the area of in the geometry, whether it's a triangle, a circle, a square, anything, all adds up to a number nine. It all goes 360 is nine. Everything is nine, and that's what's so strange. Even when you go into the really weird shapes, everything goes to nine in the end. What I wanted to show you is how I create a mixture to create my med bed, and I've got some images, so I've got to share it because I can't describe everything because it's easy with the visuals. So shall I show you how I make
Please.
a med bed? And everyone watching can copy it if they want. So the first thing I do, I've got to share the screen. That's the first thing I've got to do. Share screen, share. Right, there is the blanket. It is the flower of life. If you notice the flower of life, it starts off with one circle, and then the circles go all the way around, all the way around, all the way around, all the way around till you get the flower of life. So it's all to do with circles, all to do with 9. And that is on the med bed. That's the first. So that's the symbol. Now, why it's black and white is I'm going to channel in crystal source energy that's going to create a chakra crystal of the chakra system from the bottom, from the red root chakra all the way up to the amethyst color or even white color of the crown. So I don't want this to interfere with the crystal source energy. I just want this to be flower of life. Now, as far as I'm concerned, flower of life is like creation. That's my view on it. And so this is the creation. So you're lying on a creation of sacred geometry. Then you put your hands at the bottom here, and you pump in crystal source energy. And this crystal source energy, you with intent, you create the chakra system with the crystal source energy. Then you pull round these spirals, which we talked about, of Christ consciousness, and one's going one way, one's going the other, on an angle, and they go through the bed, up and down, and then you add chi energy or central sun into the auric field, and then you start the healing. So you ask the patient to lay down on the bed. I'll stop sharing that. That's how I
Very
create a med
interesting.
bed. Yeah.
So there's so much controversy about the flower of life, specifically and especially this pattern. It seems to be an accumulator of energy. And so if you look at a cluster of cells under a microscope, this pattern seems to be describing the mechanism of cellular division, or life based on a cellular structure, which is the structure of all life on Earth, with few exceptions. So it's very fitting and appropriate to use it for healing energy. So if you get a source coming in, it's going to keep the energy within the structure of each cell and the geometry itself, building up the concentration and the potency of that particular healing energy. And so that is very, very useful. Now, again, people say that the flower of life is evil and the lotus of life is good where there is flow. Now, you can't use the lotus of life for this application. It will have the opposite effect. So if you want to drain from the vessel and energy structure anything that is not serving, then that would be appropriate. Now, in this case, we want to accumulate healing energy from the beloved source, the crystalline energy associated with source. So that is highly appropriate. So nothing on its own is good or evil. These are definitions that we assign to it based on what it does for us. And so again, you could imagine this could be used for trapping energy or harvesting of energy. This is the negative side of the application of sacred geometry. It's not the fault of the geometry, it's the problem with the practitioner. And so this definition is very important.
When I look at the flower fly, I think it's an actor who's spiritual who mentioned it's 4D. It's not just 2D. And if you imprint that into, if you can remote view, or if you can visualize inside your head, and you set the flower of life in your head and concentrate and start turning it round, you can actually see the layers of it. So it's not just the 2D image, it is so deep and so structurally unbelievable. It's amazing if you can do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so these geometries, they call them sacred because they seem to be repeated in nature. So it seems there are standardized patterns of creation. So let's say the lily of life, or the Fibonacci spiral. You look at the spiral of a galaxy, the same pattern. You come and look at the shape that a snail or a shellfish creates their spiral, same kind of pattern. So these are repeated, independent of scale. Absolutely. Or with the flower of life, these let's say spheres on top of each other. So when you look at it from one side and you get a 2D cut of it, that's the pattern. But it could also describe the lattice of a crystal, like a diamond. So again, carbon atoms, the way they are placed, and then the spheres of electrons going around them would create exactly the same pattern. And so therefore the name sacred seems to also be appropriate. There are things that we have seen and observed in nature in all different scales.
If you remote view a pyramid, so the say big ones in Gaia, not Gaia, I can't remember, and you remote underneath, it is the same, which is amazing. But it goes long and then it goes back into the symbol. And obviously it's a power plant in there. It's all to do with energies and frequencies.
The same type of effect, you can see this in radio frequency engineering, antenna design, design of satellite dishes, receivers. The geometry of the material is important. And so associated with a certain geometric pattern, we have a radiation pattern. So how electricity flows within this surface creates EM waves. And so that's a whole field of engineering. I wasted many years on this. So
a lot of the land looks like a circuit. It's amazing.
So there seems to be something to it, and is used in modern day technology also. So it makes it a little difficult to deny. Pulling the science card, you can't do that one here. So there seems to be also an association with numbers. So going up from 0 nodes to multiples of 9. And then it seems to fall back on itself and collapse on itself. Again, so we get up to, say, let's say 9-dimensional or 9-nodal geometry in a neogram. And then any additional node will collapse the geometry on itself. So this is something that I've come across in passing. I don't really know much about this. But the number 9 seems to be critical here. Do you have any information about the association of numbers with geometry?
Funny enough, at college, we had a lecturer who used to like going into numbers. He was supposed to teach a different class, but he was well educated. And he used to bring up numbers. Now, my birthday is the 2nd of the 2nd, 65, which is 222. Probably deliberate. Why? I think it's to do with the divine. That so numbers always represents a certain part of spirituality. Are you still there? Hello? You froze? He's frozen. Are you back? Who lost who? I don't know.
Yes, there we go. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so it seems we've got a bit of a storm going on in Cambridge. Maybe that's it.
It might be because
we're about to reveal some
information we're not supposed to. Yeah, no, numbers. I've always been around in my life. You'll always know it, like people call them the angel numbers. I go beyond angel numbers. The sacred numbers that started from the beginning, basically, and a lot of the numbers are all to do with sacred geometry. My birthday, I don't know if you heard that, 2nd of the 2nd, 65 was 222. Means I'm connected to the divine. It's part of the job I've got here. You can look up numbers. Numbers are quite. It's one of them. It's always interesting to go into it, and you still got to think carefully. But numbers are sacred geometry as well. It's the same. It's literally the same. I can't see any difference in it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So on their own, there seems to be some significance to the numbers of nodes and edges or lines or branches, but then additional meaning can always be added to it. So again, these are containers of consciousness that you can fill with different intentions.
So sometimes when I see when I'm in the zone and I see when it's spiritualized, I see sacred geometry around every physical object. Everything is made of sacred geometry, whether it's your computer or whether it's a piece of wood. It's all got so that's part of the matrix formation it creates from the sacred geometry area. So we might see it around us in land and everything, but it's also building blocks of everything, absolutely everything. Even the energy that I see in the room sometimes has got sacred geometry, and if you really, really concentrate, but it's moving in the room, it's hard to just keep it still. Yeah.
Agreed. Certain people, when they go through activations, this can be perceived as if a spark comes to life and then it starts spiraling, and you've got all this geometry.
It's like that guy. Is it gyroscope from when you were a kid when you used to rub and the shapes used to come? That's exactly it. That's
Pretty
exactly.
similar. So,
Yeah.
an initial level 1 Reiki empowerment,
Mm.
where the tanden comes to life for the first time in this body, and it goes bzz, bzz, and then it comes to life. You get light, and then suddenly with the second and third empowerment, it just starts spiraling, and you get all these colors and flashes, and most certainly geometry. So the healing energy is one that I've noticed quite frequently. Another one is the third eye.
Can I show while you're going on to Reiki and everything? Can I show you an image? I'll share
Please,
the
please,
screen again.
please.
I see if I'll get it first because I don't want to spoil the future. It's actually I don't know why I took a picture of this, but you brought it up, so I must have realised you're going to bring it up. Share screen. There you go. So these are all symbols in the chakra clearing and the mantras, and this is all to do with the energies, isn't it, and the frequency, and basically sacred geometry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because you mentioned it. And also these, you might notice, they're all sacred geometries, aren't they? The
Oh,
chakras,
yes.
all sacred geometries. And these are the power symbols for that chakra. Yeah. Well, these are only with intention anyway, so you don't have to do them exactly. You don't have to. Yeah. I like this one. I do this one to the ground to ground myself sometimes. Yeah, I actually do it exactly like that. I do it to the ground. Yeah, yeah. I'll stop that.
The
Hmm.
mudras. Uh, Now, interesting. Thank you for bringing this up. It ties
Yeah.
really nicely into what we're talking about. Uh, it seems that mantras, so the spoken word, through the vibration, creates geometry.
Hmm.
So, a famous and a well known mantra, the Gayatri mantra, it seems to travel through the vessel as you are speaking each syllable and correcting the geometry or sacred geometry in the body. Om Bur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. This now went through the physical vessel of everybody who heard it. And so it's the mantra of the beloved source. And there's something to the subject of empowering them. So somebody saying it for the very first time does not get the same effect compared to somebody who's spoken this hundreds of thousands of times. So again,
What,
that
what,
geometry,
what's the 108 times that I keep on hearing?
multiples
Hold
of
on. That's 9. That's
there.
now it's
So
coming up.
it's really interesting. Now, even Nikola Tesla, the numbers 369 piqued his
Yeah.
interest. Again, in electrical engineering, which is basically dealing with waves, with vibration, with frequency. The same things come up. They're measurable and patterns emerge. And so again, that whole 108 multiples of 3, 6, and 9 So there are 108 in a mala bead, a Hindu or Tibetan set of prayer beads. But again, my humble understanding is that each one of these, and this is also true for the mudras, initially they're just an empty vessel or container with the potential for consciousness to be poured in. Now, you just create the vessel or the container one time, there's nothing in it. It's going to have no juice. It's not going to do anything for you. Now imagine you start pouring the same type of conscious energy into this over and over through the repetition with these wonderful buddies, the mala beads, over and over, the same thing. And so then you're filling this container with a very pure form of a very specific energy. That is how it becomes really potent. And so if this is the shape of the vessel that you have created, then you can draw it forth with the mantra that you filled it with and the symbol. Then you've got 6 months, 6 years, or 60 years of energy of that type to pull in for healing, for manifestation, for combat, for all sorts of things. This is what the application of these are. Probably our wonderful audience have come across the Shaolin monks. They're badass, man. I mean, the things that these guys do, and they start training at like age 1, something ridiculous. Okay, if you can crawl, you can fight, and that's how they treat it. But they use the chi energy for combat. I've seen them put a tip of a spear on this soft point on the neck, and then lean on the whole thing, and they actually break the shaft of the spear.
I've seen that.
It's same stuff. So the accumulation of energy and then learning how to guide it.
It's like they're like creating a brick in the neck, isn't it? It's like changing the energy format.
Yeah. The iron shirt Qigong, where the body becomes impervious. It's pretty insane until you see it. Until you see it and you go, oh my God, this is actually real.
What you were saying about the mantras coming out and everything, I was talking to you about this singer called Hi Ren, and he had 10 years of Lyme disease, misdiagnosis, and he sings like flowing with source energy. He's coming out, but what he's a rapper, he's coming out with the dark and the light. He's had 10 years of battle, and his song has got that 10 years of battle. So it's an healing song in itself, and it's amazing. You can't get if you're not emotional with that, you'll never be emotional with anything, because you can see the fight between his dark side, his demon side, and his light side, and he ends up winning at the end. And if you ever need to see something that's going to change your life, that will change your life. I get emotional every time I see it, and I'm not an emotional person.
Wow.
But it's the energy inside. It's the mantras he's created. It's the fight between dark and light. But it's 10 years of it. It's not just now. It's 10 years of that. So I'd recommend anyone to see that. But see it. I know he's rapping in it. I'm not a rapping fan. But just look at it and listen to it as a unbalanced person in like a meditation, and you'll see what I mean.
Could you put it in the comments and also share it on my side? I think it will be a wonderful example.
He actually separates himself. His dark side plays the guitar different. His facial things are different. His voice is different. And it's funny, the lights are going on and off like it's the dark side. And his light side plays everything else different. So he changes from one to the other, and it's all one live song. He's no breaks, there's no manipulation. He does it in one go, 9 minutes, which is unbelievable how he does that. But I do know people who have had get healing from it. Especially if you're fighting your own demons. It's an emotional roller coaster, but I will do that. Yeah,
that's beautiful. It's the modern day application of the same principle. So not all magic has to be ancient and woo woo.
The bloke who does the theatre songs. What's his name? Lloyd Webber said it's one of the best it's the best thing he's ever seen in this day and age. So he's even done a comment on it, and he does all of it. He does the production, he does everything apart from the camera. But I think they have loads of cameras, and then he edits it at the end. So it's pretty good. Yeah, amazing to see. It is incredible. People, if you don't see it, I watch it again, but do it. Try and blank your mind and then look at it. Yeah. Yeah.
And so the gentleman is creating his own balancing and healing geometry.
Yeah, theatre, geometry theatre. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
I've actually seen him sing Bob Marley, and he becomes Bob Marley. So how does somebody, yes, and Sting, he sounds exactly like him. So it's as though he's a vessel that channels in the voice of who he wants to sing, which is pretty good going. So,
Well, we've got to do a whole show on channeling. I mean, now that you've brought it up, we
but not
can't.
tonight. Yeah, we will do.
Next one, channeling. That's going to be an awesome one. Oh man, there's so much to talk about on that subject.
I channeled Michael once with Ivan Teller, and Michael said that he didn't think I was that angelic because my bedroom was a mess. Stop insulting me.
Does your sweatshirt say gangster? Well, let's add to it. Oh my God, I knew it was spiritual gangster.
Yeah, that's it.
Pew pew. I love that. Amazing.
My son got me this.
Well,
the oldest. He knows me.
I like your son already. He knows what's up.
Yeah, he was born on May the 1st, and we named him Celtic. Yeah.
Wow. Oh well. How beautiful.
I was born on the 2nd of November, which ancient times was the end of Halloween. It's Samhain, and my wife was born on the 1st of August. But if you had a pagan calendar, me, my son, and my wife were all on the main dates. So,
well, one magical family, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, speaking about sacred geometry, let's now dive into another amazing topic: the crop circles.
Okay.
Right, they're most certainly symmetrical. There's complex geometry, and so they can be the containers of very complex forms of consciousness. Just by looking at them, you're absorbing the effect. So,
do you want me to show you an image of one of some?
Let's go. Let's do that.
Let's go around the rabbit hutch. There you go. Crop circles. There's a lot of wide ones there, but
wow, gorgeous.
plant.
Oh yes, yes.
Oh, where did I go? Yeah. I'll have to go back. I don't know what happened then. Didn't like me doing that, did it? All right. That was weird. Something affecting us, aren't they? Yeah, a bit of that will do. Right, there you go. So I've also got that one. So as an example. Majority of these, I believe, are fake, but some are not. So what created them? Was it aliens or was it the land? I believe the land creates a lot of them. That's my personal view. What's yours, Amir?
So first of all, the emergence is pretty immediate. The real ones, they pop up in a few minutes. They could be associated with certain, let's say, key nodes on the earth. I like that idea that it is the consciousness of the earth. This would be the residue of certain concentrated energies in exactly those patterns. So when they've looked at the plants themselves, it's like there's a high temperature burn. So some energetic event on those very precise lines has occurred there. So high temperature and perfect geometry. So what we see in the field on the crops is just let's say an imprint, or let's say a shadow of what was there. So this kind of symmetry and geometry, well, this indicates complexity. And so going back to the definition of these patterns being vessels of consciousness, they are sufficiently complex to hold a very sophisticated type of information. So observing them will give you that information, not in a conscious level or a linguistic level, but pretty much on a soul level. There are those that are, of course, man-made. They would lack this this procedure of the implantation of consciousness within the form. So one way to identify their authenticity would be the energetic effects of it. For those who are more sensitive to energy, they would feel the unzipping or decompression of information within themselves. So many say it is the effect of stargates or portals. From my own experience, portals are not quite so clean. They're considerably more messy. So unless they are very strictly technological. Now, if that's a category of technology, then all these patterns would be identical. And that doesn't seem to be the case. So it seems that the ones that are in fact authentic, I like your understanding or your hypothesis that it seems to be related with the consciousness of the earth.
Yeah.
These happen in certain regions. They don't happen everywhere. So they're very common in the United Kingdom. Something special is going on with that particular part of the world. So it's not all aliens. I don't give them quite that much credit. The common denominator seems to be our mother Gaia. So yes, I think I would agree with your hypothesis. Consciousness of Earth.
I was mentioning to me that I thought it was the conscious of Earth before we started. That's what it's mean. I've noticed this has got a pentagon in the middle, and everything's to do with number 5, isn't it? It's 5 triangles. Apart from it's 5 rows of 13. Now I look sometimes at the ley lines. I look at the very similar. When the ley lines cut into a crossroads, they tend to have symmetric shapes. The one I was connected that you helped me disconnect a few days ago, you pump the energy in and they come into a crossfire, and it's very similar to this. It's actually very similar. And these are like power points that are coming off from power points into energy fields. So this to me could be the Earth deliberately taking the ether off the land to PowerPoint the ley lines of the Earth. This could be a power grid quite easily. And so the Gaia consciousness is deliberately creating a PowerPoint that's weak on Earth, because basically she is the Earth, and sometimes the Earth needs repairing. So this could be a repair job, or it could be a message to us. Sometimes.
So now with this particular number of 5, the primordial forms of consciousness, earth, water, fire, air, and spirit. Now the 5 of them combining in equal force and attracting and repelling each other with equal force would give this kind of 5-pointed symmetry. And also in many forms of magical practice, the pentagrammaton is representative of these forces. So perhaps our understanding of this shape comes from the earth. And so our ancestors have seen this pattern, and then understanding through communication with Gaia, this is what it means. And so this symbol is holding that meaning. The presence of the primordial elements and then creation, which would also entail repair.
Yeah.
So maybe all along this has been Earth's intelligence in effecting repair, not just upon herself, her own vessel, the land, but also everybody and everything that crosses by. Well, this is quite new, and I'm really loving it.
I'm enjoying listening.
This is the visual aftermath of Mother Gaia's natural defense system. It's her effecting repair upon herself.
So you could transmute that into like like one of these,
Yes,
and it'd be an healing. You have an healing symbol,
absolutely.
and you're connecting to everything, aren't you? Fire, earth, spirit, yeah, magical, really.
So can we look at another one? Let's see what we get. Have you got another single one available? Let's see
Yeah,
what we can pick out of this. Oh, wow.
that looks
Now,
like
again,
birth. That looks like birth to me. Hmm?
wow. Okay.
What do you think?
Is it natural or man-made? Okay, this one is too messy.
Hmm.
This seems to be man-made. It is not quite as clean and pristine. So some farmer with a roller or something else has gone, say, okay, let's do something nice here. It's not sharp. It's not
Yeah.
crisp. So imagine a massive pattern of energy going through the earth, beaming out into space. And then it gets the corn at a certain level where it increases the heat and bends the plant.
Yeah,
Now
I get
that
that
is,
because you look at that, that is not middle of that.
there
Yeah,
we go.
that
Yes,
yeah, it's not uniform, and Earth doesn't know how not to do uniform, does it?
yeah. It's not
Yeah,
perfect enough.
yeah.
It's yes. So the farmer needs to work on their art.
Let's see the next one.
Okay, this is pristine.
Yeah, this is nice.
So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9 in the center. Well, this is very interesting.
Mm.
Now this could also show an archetype of life. Now, interestingly, pointing towards the archetype of dragons. The wings and the concentration of energy towards the head, and then the slender body, very evolved dragon form, but also replicated in smaller forms of life, like the sperm cell.
Mm.
Seems to have the same sort of mechanism, a little engine behind the head that makes the tail go round, go bzzz, and propel it forward. And so they're not identical either. The last one on the top of the picture seems to have a little deviation at the very end. And so, let's see. The locations are precise, very interesting. I'm kind of, let's see if it's
It's a bit like the three separate beings.
3 separate beings. So if
Mm.
this is man-made, I'd like to speak with whoever made it.
Pretty good.
Okay, I'm going for man-made.
Mm.
Some details are not right. So yes, but a very beautiful pattern. I'd say this one is man-made.
Mm. See if we've got another one. Not quite uniform, is it? But that could be the angle of the photograph.
Could be the angle of the photo, yeah.
Mm.
So showing the Merkaba. It's too new age. It's way too mainstream. And so the other thing that is missing from this one is curves.
Mm.
With the exception,
I do like the little angles here.
beautiful.
I like them little patterns there inside. So it's like to me, it's like the middle part's like a pyramid.
Correct. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Um, so I'm going for man-made.
Hmm. You've got another one? No, I haven't got another
Definitely not man-made and very delicious.
one. I've got this is sacred geometry in
Oh,
plants.
yes, yes, yes. The lily of life, the Fibonacci.
Look at
There we go.
that. Look at
Beautiful.
that. Wow. Random, but not the same one.
Random but not. Yes.
Yeah. And the one thing I have got in this as well. Oh, he's a Star Fox. I've got loads of stuff on here, haven't I? Now that honey can be thousands of years old and is still edible because it is probably the best thing that's ever made. And they make that from the buzzing of the bees bzzz, creates the program that cleanses the actual symbols, the honey. That's what I believe. So it's got the frequency of the divine in every honey you can ever think of.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
pretty much an eternal substance.
Mm.
Um, they found honey in ancient Egyptian burial sites. Still good. And
Mm.
the mummy is gone, but the honey is good. And so, powerful antiseptic, and is amazing for every sort of digestive problem, but also autoimmune system conditions, inflammation, joint pain, all sorts of every type where the immune system goes crazy and starts attacking
Mm.
the body. Honey seems to
Well,
calm
a,
things
a,
down.
a good remedy is to put garlic and onion inside and let it ferment. And
Wow.
after about a month, it can clear your colds and all everything else related to it. Have you noticed it's six sides?
Yes, of
Mm.
course. Yes.
Yeah,
Highly, highly efficient.
yeah. Unbelievable
Uh,
beings they are.
I had a friend who perceived the Akashic records this way.
Mm. Oh, that's
So
amazing.
every little capsule was containing a piece of information. Some
Mm.
see it like a computer system or a console. I see it like an old school library, not with scrolls, with proper books, like you back here.
Well,
Um,
you carry on because I'll tell you how I read the Akashic, which is quite interesting. It was very similar. Yeah.
so you've got your own little section of the library, your own, let's say, hall,
Mm.
and it's the different styles is just the last stage of the process, the conscious mind translating it different. That would depend on our unique personalities and experiences. But it seems we have record keepers or librarians, and I don't know what's up. These guys are grumpy most of the time, like get your stuff and get out.
I got ejected from one once, and they were like fish beings with wings. That's all I can describe them, like fish beings with wings, and they ejected me because I was trying to change my timeline. I was adding a lottery with.
Yeah, no messing with the merchandise. Out you go.
I'll just say that. The way I do the Akashic, I go in the 11th chakra because normally I'm changing the person's blueprint. And when I go into the 11th chakra, it's like a room and they're all different and it depends on the person's personality. So they could be antique, they could be modern. And on inside the middle of the room is a table. And on the table is a book. And that's the person's blueprint. That's his life story. And if I need the blueprint to transfer the person into its original, I open the book and my crystal source being collects the information. The information comes out in sacred geometry out of the
Yes,
book.
yes, yes,
And
yes, yes.
it's quite magical watching it. But I let her translate it because it take me too long. I've only got a minute or two, and I've got a week.
Yes. Um,
So
it's not possible to translate most of it.
yeah.
You get little glimpses
Mm.
if you're lucky. So especially with upgrades and repair. So now not just the Akashic records. The Akashic records are more like a public library. We've got more exclusive storehouses of information. The Divine Library of Life, especially for souls that are not native to this universe. They seem to bring all sorts of cool stuff with them for the mission. And so that's something that, so say they've got damage to a certain chakra or a certain energetic point in the body. They've brought lots of backups with them. Some of them are pretty fancy schmancy. And so I come across and I see usually the way that it is shown. You're not required to go through every shelf. It starts shining. You pick this thing up and you go, oh my God, what is this? And sometimes you know and sometimes you don't know. It's shining, it's theirs, and you're just facilitating the download. And then it integrates into the body and starts working, and you go, oh my God, look at what this is. Some pretty impressive.
Have you ever had them say, you just had a download? What was it? I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. They don't share the record keepers. They don't share. They just be silent and just take it and get out. And that seems to be a prominent attitude with the record keepers. I don't know why these guys are so grumpy. They need to get out more.
If you ever need to read the Akashic records, bring your own light being or crystal source being. It's a lot easier because you don't have a clue what it means half the time. Yeah. I can see it. I can see it in symbolic form. I've seen that loads of times, and that's amazing just to see it coming out of the book and into this source being book. It's a bit like reading code in a computer. You just get lost in it. Like seeing numbers and everything.
Wow. So yes, there seems to be geometry underneath all creation.
Yeah.
And so how much of it can we consciously understand? Honestly,
can I say something? When it comes out, I can actually hear it. It's got a tune to a frequency. I can actually hear the frequency of it. So it's numbers, sacred geometry, and frequency all together as a package. It's all one. Yeah.
And now add different colors, light,
colors, as well.
Light, flashes, distinct geometry. And so
do you like the flashing at the back? This is actually the symbols from sheep. And I put it on and I thought, wow, isn't that amazing? It wasn't even deliberate. It just came up. So I might as well keep it. It looks good enough for me.
Pretty cool.
So should we go into star thoughts? Because I think that's quite an interesting.
Okay.
Unless you've got something else.
No, good. Let's proceed.
Oh, star thoughts. There's a star thought. I think these are sacred energy generators of olden times. Is that what you think?
Agreed. Now, interesting, this part of the world we are, the United Kingdom, many of these are now underneath the ocean and still working. So those that are built with the correct level of knowledge are placed over guardian crystals.
They also build military bases on them. Isn't that coincidence? Or is it? Wow. It's not really a coincidence, is it? Yeah.
Right. So there's awareness of the special properties of this location.
Yeah. People got any more? Look at that! Wow. That is amazing. Can you even see that? Is that people walking, or is that deliberately putting patterned circles around it?
It could be really recent, like the lawnmower guy was really artistic and said, you know what, I'm going to go around in a circle for this one.
I never think of that.
But
what would that be? I don't know what that would do. I don't know how big it is, actually. It must be quite big. Let's see the
Wow.
next one. Oh, that's the church one. Do that after. As a giant star fort. They're buildings, aren't they? Deliberately put it as a star fort.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So could it be Stargates? It could be. Near
Yeah.
me is one of Merlin's portals, and that's quite. You can feel that actually. Feel it strong. Uh, Public aren't allowed, but I got there eventually. Typical, isn't it? They don't want us to see it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not an accident. Rise of the bees. Definitely not an accident, Starfort. So what do you think? Do you think it's collecting the ether on the universe or above our sky, in our sky? Hmm.
So this is fortification, not just physical, but also energetic.
Yeah.
So the central structure would be protected from intrusion, not just armies making it in, or let's say individual assassins making it in, but fortification against remote viewing.
Yeah.
And so, if they have used the correct materials in the walls and the structures, that is very, very potent.
Mm.
In a much more primitive way, I use this in my own home.
Mm.
Multiple levels of crystals placed in the correct location. So you have a protective grid. You're not just leaving yourself wide open. And so this is now a structure built from the ground up with this knowledge.
Mm.
So the architect was tapped in. They knew what they were doing. There's so many of these, and the older you go, the more precise it seems the application is.
Mm. I believe that most of these would probably have a lot of bells to them. Now, a lot of people won't get this. I'm just going to say it anyway. In the 1700s, there was a war going on with Orion here, and that's what created the reset because they took all the bells away and everything. And I think this is part of the to stop the war. And they would have had bells. The bells would make the alien beings look like what they are,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
frequency. So I think this is all to do with. I think it was 1728 when 1734 when they created the mud flood reset, and that's why
There's
a lot.
lots of paintings from that era with
Yeah,
craft in the sky shooting each other.
yeah,
Uh, Lots of
yeah,
wonky stuff in Central Europe, the Czech
yeah.
Republic, Germany.
Yeah,
So something went on.
the Empire here had the giants, the Tartarians, and the dragons. The dragons were physically thousands, and they were on the Earth side. I think it was an invasion. That's what we in a prison now, I believe. But I do believe this is a defense system, like you said, but on a many level defense system that a lot of people, well, even us, don't understand fully. Yeah, amazing. Shall we go on to
Yes, sir.
the churches? These are energy pump things, aren't they? There you go. Look at that. All symbols. There's a star fort.
Oh, yes.
Wow. The size of the car. That gives you a
Oh,
good
yeah.
idea what size it is. Look at how else. There you go.
The ziggurat. Okay, this is now Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
This stuff goes way back.
Yeah.
So post Ice Age.
Mhm.
Um, Great association with the Anunnaki. And so they brought their own interesting toys, lots of portals and
Mm.
stargates. Um, Great concentration in modern day Iraq and also Iran. Um, Very, very unusual structures. The energy is kind of unmistakable. As soon as you um, start seeing it, it starts working on you.
They
So
only
this,
came here. They only came here for our gold. Yeah, our gold was inferior to what we used to anyway. Yeah, it wasn't their pure gold that they have, the crystal gold. I believe you're doing a. Have you done a video on the Anunnaki? Yeah, that'd be
it seems
interesting.
to be coming up so
Yeah,
with a will of its own.
Mm.
into the public domain. A lot of talk about it on both sides. They're so good. Oh no, they're so evil. I'm
Mm.
kind of in the middle. They're evil, which are trying to become good. And so,
They was a warrior, wasn't they? A nuclear war, and that's why a lot of the sand in the Sahara's green glass. It was all to do with a battle between, I think, the same race. I think they were battling each other.
yes,
Which hasn't changed, has it? Yeah,
same story, different day.
yeah. And a lot of what we believe are gods were the Anunnaki, aren't they? They're not
Correct.
even gods. I believe they're ones that what they did here was against God. Yeah, and they tried to twist it. And I think they'd lost a lot of their connection to God, and that's why they wanted us. Yeah, we've got
Absolutely.
the spark, God spark in us, and they've lost
Hey,
it.
stop doing that, man. You're reading my mind, like word for word. As soon as I want to say it, you're saying it. Okay, good, good. No, no, spot on,
Yeah.
spot on.
Mm,
Yes, yeah, it seems humanity is having the last laugh.
yeah.
That the result of these hundreds of thousands of years of interaction has enriched us. We've gained their wisdom. So all this technology is their legacy.
Mm,
Um, Technology is their thing. And so they had a chance to integrate with us and reconnect to source. They'd
mm,
gone bad long before they ever came to our world. And so it was both a chance in redemption and also the most terrible punishment, depending on how they behaved.
mm,
And so many of them misbehaved. And so now the end stage is the Anunnaki cannibalizing each other
mm,
as they're losing foothold and losing their source of energy. Now, the brilliant thing is that as they have operated in the shadows, many are unaware of them. And so,
mm,
as they go into the darkness, it will be as if they never existed.
mm.
That is the
Some of
most
the,
terrible
I think,
fate.
some of the races I don't even think can repopulate themselves. We've gone that dark, and they need our energy to do that. I think. That's
So the
why,
more awakened we are,
yeah,
the less energy we feed them. It's
yeah.
bad news for them.
The other thing about we've digressed here a bit more, haven't we? The other thing with this is they've locked our DNA strands. We all know that. So we were gods on Earth at one point. When heaven on Earth, we could do a lot more things. Now I know people like me and you have opened a lot more than an average Joe Boggs, but would it be nice to open them all way? I've been trying for decades.
I
Yeah.
think there are limitations to what can be done with these specific bodies. They're not
Mm.
put together right.
Yeah.
So they're just assembled with enough information to test a few remaining genetic and energetic characteristics. This is not the whole design.
Mm.
A lot is missing. And
Mm.
so that is available to us. But after the end of this whole experiment, so the souls participating in Earth, they get the blueprints of the complete human design: longevity, immunity, healing, portal tech, remote viewing, all that good stuff, and of course, direct connection to source.
Mm.
So that's one of the things that makes Earth interesting. Whatever codes many species can scavenge, it's still a treasure. And so that explains a lot of harvesting of energy, the whole slave system, control system. But it's about to come tumbling down.
Mm.
Not tomorrow. It'll take 3 centuries. But what's 3 centuries in the scale of time? It's nothing.
Well, the start of a lot of changes, funny enough, November the 27th, which is 3 days away. And the next 5 months after is going to be change. So between November the 27th and March the 27th, this is going to be a very, very strange period in humanity's
The
life.
the the, the darkest hour.
And the lightest, it's the worst point, but it's the recovery.
And
That
so
way.
blessings to all of us.
Okay.
We're gonna make it. There's no reason
Yeah.
for fear. Keep yourself on the light side. Be happy.
Can I talk to you about the implants I saw today? And I think you've got an experience of this as well, where the archons and the dark beings and the parasites all create different implants. And this is the first one where they've actually created a parasite, spiritual parasite, mixed it with a implant. So it's an implant spiritual parasite. And this was like a snake, a black snake that was anchoring onto the Kundalini, the tailbone energies. It was going into all the nervous system, and its essence, its energy was deliberately making pain in the body and then trapping the pain and then siphoning it and then sending it out to a base. And this is like a base on land, and it was a plasma tech with AI bots there. And we took it all down. And once we took it down, the whole lot just disappeared. So
This is more common than is comfortable. The combination of technology and life forms, abominations, but they are created for this very purpose, harvesting. I've come across some pretty unpleasant ones, looking like octopus or jellyfish.
I think the black octopuses I've seen.
And so the little tendrils hook into certain chakra points.
Yeah.
And so, other types looking like a, let's say, insect, puncturing in around the spinal cord with little hooks or tendrils going in. They don't look very beautiful. So abomination, life from many different locations, not all of it this universe either, and then technology. They're just created for harvesting. And so sometimes they're sophisticated. And so this new species wishes to evolve. And so they can be guided to heal and evolve and transmute their original design. And sometimes, no, they're as dark as they come. You just got to look at the serial number, pull all of them in and wipe them out, like what you did.
I was trying to get in someone's 11 chakra that had a lot of things from the last 4 years, which I can't mention here because I won't get a strike. And there was an octopus guarding the 11th chakra of the door. I'm thinking, so what? Not only siphoning, but like security, like stopping me getting in there, stopping me getting this. So we had to bring in the team to do a bit of a battle, and but highly intelligent, these parasites, implants, whatever, highly intelligent.
What did it choose? Did it choose to go out with a bang, or did it accept evolution?
It went with a bang.
Okay. You came across one of the nasty ones. Okay. Interesting stuff. But yes, I've come across these melding of biology and technology.
A lot of beings think that they're that advanced that you're no good to destroy. You give them a chance. Yeah, I agree. You've got to give them a chance sometimes, but a lot of them, they don't see defeat. They just got to
Yes,
be
yes,
with them.
yes, yes. They've got this crazy motto, "Rah, death before dishonor," and I say, "Okay, no problem."
I tell you, this is amazing today. Like
It-
it's you see
Agreed.
different angles. I think a lot of the church buildings though are not church buildings. They were something else. They were healing centers, and I think the symbols around them was bringing in the energy from the is it ethanol or I don't know what you call it. The
Ethers.
energy, yeah, the ether. It was bringing in the ether to do healing. I do believe that. Yeah.
Some of the churches are built upon the same principles. Yeah, people get these healings. We don't want to be, let's say, racist or ageist, depending on which century or millennium these are built. There's good and bad everywhere. This is the truth. And you can't judge a whole category of beings or, let's say, creations the same way. You got to examine individually. So yes, there are many beautiful churches and mosques and synagogues built on the same sacred land. And by sacred, somebody may say all land is sacred. Well, some land is more sacred, depending on what's under.
What I laugh is when you say, "Oh, it's 200 years old." I don't know. The pyramids had a couple of notes on there. They're probably about they're ancient, but like churches or libraries or government buildings, they are thousands of years old. A lot of them buildings, and they look they look like they were built yesterday because they were built properly.
Yeah.
Not like what they build now. So,
They don't make them like they used to. Capitalism came in.
Yeah, some of the buildings like temples in India, it's made from one granite. How did they do that? How? It's probably.
India it's so underrated. People don't really know.
I think it's like frequency. You know, like the crop circles. I think it's similar to that.
And so we could spend days talking about the glory of India. And so, well, I don't think we're going to run out of conversation points anytime soon. What do we have? We've got channeling, we've got light language, we've got
Light language.
we've got lots coming.
Light language can also be ancient tongue. I wonder if I'm going to come out with that one.
Well, hey, let's do that one next time. Or light language channeling. Well, we'll keep our wonderful audience happy.
We can come out with numbers. We only delved a little bit into the numbers, didn't we? Yeah. There's so many. Or yeah, we did dragons, didn't we? There's so much.
Well, we'll do something.
And if anyone's asked any questions, apologies, I haven't checked, so I'll have a look.
Same here. Apologies. Yeah. We'll catch up. Yeah. Okay, so shall we close with another level of cleansing?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I'll use my bigger bowl. I haven't got my Himalayan. Never borrow your stuff out.
True. Never give your sacred objects and instruments to anyone.
You don't get back that. It takes weeks to get back. Beautiful.
Something really interesting. Singing bowls mess with the singing bowls, and energy messes with the electronic filters on Zoom. And so as you were playing, you could see visually the artifacts with the energy going around. It's really, really cool.
I'll have to watch that.
Oh yeah, it's happening right now as you're happy. Yeah. Little lightning bursts of energy going out. Joy is one of those potent energies. So wishing joy for all our wonderful audience. Next week, same place, same time.
Yeah. We're not sure where it is yet. We'll work it
out. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
All the best. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
And remember, Hi Ren. Listen to that. That's good.
Take care.